All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checkered TV. Tonight we have the Vince Service and Repair here tonight at Talladega Superspeedway, and that is the car we are focused on right now, making his qualifying lap, and that is Vicente Guerrero, again, sponsoring tonight's race in that number 14 machine, so big thank you to Vince. And then, of course, got to give him a little bit of extra love and a little bit of TV time. So a little bit of info, say he's been doing this for just over a year over there, providing mobile service and repair nut harvesting equipment, tractors, forklifts in the Central Valley area of California. So again, if you're out on the West Coast there, maybe Vince someone to check out there with some of the heavy machinery kind of type repairs, which can be pretty specialized type stuff. So always good to have a good person that you know that you can work with. And I say obviously haven't been able to see it, but based on what I know about him, really, really good dude. Seems to be a really stand-up guy, so would not hesitate to have Vince. Well, first I have to get some giant machinery. My sister-in-law does have a tractor. Maybe we can get her involved. But yeah, so really appreciate Vince, though, bringing this on. And love the paint scheme. Is saying, here's the thing that you can see in qualifying. Run the apron, shorter distance on that second lane. Try to see if you can shortcut that track. Makes a big difference in qualifying. So we'll see where he ends up here in just a moment. As always, 75 laps are scheduled distance here tonight at Talladega. There will be one fast pair, 3 attempts of a green-white checkered. Of course, as always, also no passing below the yellow line. And other than that, pretty much same rules apply. This is Talladega, so these drivers do not have to call their pit entries. So they can try to be a little bit stealthy. So we'll see if that comes into play. And of course, also got to keep an eye on fuel mileage. I was hearing it's just over about that 25 lap mark, so likely a 2-stop race on the scheduled distance. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye there as well to see what kind of fuel numbers these drivers get. Like I said, I think though the winning strategy will be trying to make this thing a 2-stopper under the green flag conditions. And in just a moment, I was going to say he's got to get a backup car. No, he's good. Just a moment, I'll be joined here by my partner in crime. That is going to be Matt Wagner. So he's getting everything set back up on his side. And I'm just happy to know that he's feeling a little bit better. It's say he hasn't been doing super well. And luckily, I say the other luckily is just allergies, sounds like it. But that said, to say it's the season and they can really beat up on you. So yeah, glad to have him back in better health. And it looks like we got about 15 cars here this evening. So a little less than we had previously. But again, it doesn't matter what the numbers are. These guys always put on a really good show. And again, a little wider than Daytona. You're going to see lots of 3-wide action. And it'll be interesting kind of to see what the strategy is going to be. How aggressive do these drivers want to be? Maybe try to push a little bit early, save a little early, then push that extra lap. So I think the quantity of drivers on the teams will matter here tonight. And so I'm kind of spying on the Discords. I see 3 drivers over in that 1776 Motorsports with Jacob Lee, Jason Bogart, and Zach Perry. I know there's some fans of theirs usually in the chat. We got Ambrose Kniebel, Carl Lingle, Frank Ranger as well with the Blind Squirrels. 3 on the Bootknocker side, Dude Conrad, Eric Laurie, Gabe Butler. And then the one that has the most right now, 5 drivers I'm showing, is Roswell, Bud Steele, Ed DeBoer, Jim Brooks, Quabi Brooks, and Nick Wing. So we'll be keeping an eye on all of those guys here tonight. And now we're just about to get things underway here. So let's go and pull up our starting grid for tonight's event. And it will be Gabe Butler on the pole there. And actually a really good lap by that 88 car. Almost half a tenth quicker, or just over half a tenth quicker, I should say. Over tonight's sponsor, again, Vince Service and Repair. He's going to roll off on the outside of row number 1. And talk about the Bootknockers there. 3rd and 4th, Eric Laurie, Dude Conrad. So all 3 of them in those top 4 spots. Great qualifying by them. Bud Steele rounds out our top 5. Then you got Ed DeBoer, Quabi Brooks, Nick Wing, Zach Perry, Jason Bogart, Jim Brooks, and Jacob Lee. So all the 1776 guys all there right together as well. And then a little further back, you've got Ambrose Kniebel, Carl Lingle, and Frank Ranger Jr. So I actually got the Blind Squirrels. They're going to kind of hang out in the back here, starting shotgun on the field. So it may not be a bad idea just to kind of play things out, see how things are looking. As we'll go ahead and put that timing scoring ticker up on the top so you can see where your favorite driver was starting. Just got a couple cars left to grid, and I think we're about to get rolling for tonight's event. goes the field, going to roll off to start their warm-up laps. Say some of the guys are going to wait late to fire up the cars, try to save every ounce of fuel they can. You never know when you're going to need that little extra drop. So there goes the field rolling out onto the track. And they will start this one warm-up lap, and then we will be underway here in just a moment. Hope everybody's having a good evening finishing up the weekend. And we're getting to holiday season. I mean, we got Halloween coming up here shortly. We've got, I believe, I'm trying to think that we got some more holiday. Obviously, Thanksgiving at the end of November. I know I'm missing one at the beginning
Halloween.
of November. Yeah, we got
Halloween.
Yeah, so we'll be off that Thursday. So don't find a broadcast. Go trick or treating. Give out candy. If you don't get a lot of kids, give out full-size candy bars. I mean, I never really got that opportunity. I wanted to be that house that did it, but we get too many trick-or-treaters, man. I can't give out the full candy bars. I would go broke. The one I was missing is Veterans Day, November 11th. That's a little embarrassing to forget. So that's going to be the other one coming up. And then, of course, Thanksgiving later in November. So, yeah, I was saying then, obviously, Christmas, all that. Like, I'm looking at my daughter's school schedule, man. She's got so many days coming off, coming up here that she's going to have off. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do with her. But, yeah, Matt, not a huge field here tonight, 15 cars, but it's Talladega. It's going to open things up. They got plenty of room to work. We got Vince sponsoring tonight's event with Vince Service and Repair, and he's going to start on the front row next to our pole sitter in that number 88 of Gabe Butler.
Yeah, I just now noticed your favorite son's in the field.
Yep, favorite son's in the field, and we are underway here, Matt. And favorite son didn't quite get the start he was probably hoping for, but safely we'll still hold on to the draft. But I'm sure he'll want to adjust on that one in the future. But yeah, so far obviously everybody's just going to build up to speed, and this is again, Matt, going to be one of those ones. The smaller field, gotta make sure that there's no mistakes being made on the initial kick. Don't want to lose the draft there right now, and I think everybody's going to be pretty safe. Frank Ranger Jr. is making me a little nervous. He's already about half a second off. I think he should be okay, but we'll keep an eye on the intervals right now. I'll say it's gotten to about 0.6, but I think this race is going to ebb and flow a little bit. Yeah.
He's fine. He's fine.
We got some rooting going on for the 017 of Jason Bogart, as well as Zach Perry. So let's give a good look at those guys. The Flex Seedle machine. Jason right now in the 10th spot right where he qualified. Zach Perry right in front of him as well. 9th spot where he qualified as well. So appreciate you guys hopping on here, Ramrod and Paige. Hope you are all having a wonderful evening. As we hop on board with, this is the best helmet I've seen in a while. We got Mr. Bean on board here with Zach Perry. I love it. There's always some fun helmets. Let's say, talk about helmets as well. We'll go to Vicente and say he's got the Intimidator helmet. So there's little things we can find, Matt. And I say we got a Mr. Bean. We've got Dale Earnhardt Sr. It's good stuff, but we may have spoke too soon about Frank, though, Matt. It's about 7/10. Now, okay, now it's closing the right way.
Going the right. I was watching his in-car. It's going the right direction.
I was getting nervous. That's good, though. I always want to get all the field here. Everybody stick together. But, yeah, so right now, no favoritism being played here. You see Dude Conrad, he's given all the push he can to that 14 of Vicente. Obviously, Eric Laurie going to be doing the same as well with that number 88 of Gabe Butler. So right now, these two leading the front two rows here. And you can see, again, these guys, you can see right there, dude just going a little bit off center there. He's got to make sure he doesn't get himself too hot. Got to get a little bit of air in the front nose of that number 8 car. As I say that, though, Vince clears the inside line. He's going to drop down low, see if he can lead a lap here at Talladega. There's definitely something to be said about a Dale Earnhardt Sr. helmet leading at Talladega. It's definitely something that we've seen a lot of in the past.
Oh, yeah.
So right now, and mentioning catching the draft, Frank Ranger Jr. last lap around just set the fastest lap of the race, kind of able to get that big draft. And, oh, dude, Conrad's getting hung out to dry here, Matt. Oh, he's going to pick up some love from Gabe. Gabe's going to jump up top, pick up his teammate, give dude a little bit of drafting help. But right now we've kind of got that train going pretty early on, Matt. Was hearing fuel mileage should be just above that 25 window, probably about 26, 27. Well, to keep an eye and see if that is indeed the case, because it sounds like it has been a couple fuel mileage races at Atlanta last week on both Sunday and Thursday. So we'll have to see if that comes to fruition here again tonight, or if these guys are able to just kind of pedal to the metal and just do a 2-stop race instead of some of the 3 stops we have been seeing recently. Right now, Matt, Gabe's just got a nose ahead, not enough to clear. As you can see, and actually they're going to go side by side, and again, it's the 3 boot knockers right now working together there, and then you've got the 14 of Vicente. I didn't check Discord right at the very start of the race. Not sure if he's in there, if maybe he's just rolling solo for the moment. But again, though, these guys, they know that they're going to have good help with people around them, so I don't think that 14's too worried about it. He's quick enough that he's going to find friends just from the outright pace he has.
Yes, no doubt he'll find anything.
So we're going to jump one spot back. That is Bud Steele in that Navy machine. And yeah, as I say, actually it was last week's race. It was the anniversary birthday of the Navy. You see on the car there, the 249th year. So pretty impressive there. Wasn't able to give it a lot of attention last week. We did have Mission 22 on the broadcast. Again, want to thank Bud for the donation to kind of bring attention to them. Obviously, a great cause there. You can see that on the door of his 22
Great run
machine.
by Gabe there. I'm surprised he ain't going down to go in front of Vince there. He's right in front of there. I think he's trying to go down. Nope, he's going to stay up top.
Yeah,
I was a little bit wary there.
I don't think he wants to ditch dude, but I think I think he's trying.
I
think he's trying to let dude go. I think dude was getting hot, and so I think they're trying to switch positions. But maybe just a little bit of miscommunication there. Gabe tried to cut back down, was a little too soon on it. Now they get themselves reorganized, so I think we're about to see a pushing change. But while that's all been going on, we got the squirrels here popping into the mix. There you see the 30 of Carl Lingle. He's going to look to the 3rd lane. He's got help from Ambrose in the 04. Not too far back is Frank Ranger Jr. as well. So looks like these guys are going to start to push a little bit more here as we continue on.
You'd love to see it. I would like to see a squirrel 1-2 finish, wouldn't you?
It would be fun. I said and it's one of those things where it's the same thing. Just they get themselves in position, and you got to have the right brakes at the right time. And they've had a couple times, especially I feel like lately, Carl's been the one that's really done a great job and has been the closest one for contention. The brakes just haven't happened for him yet, and that's all you can ask for is just to put yourself in that spot, and at some point it'll turn and you'll be able to get that opportunity.
And what's the main reason why some of these fields separate so much? Pit stops.
Yep.
These guys have to nail their stop. I see it week in and week out. These guys nail their stops. Don't forget, take off your tires. You know what I mean? Just you guys got to execute.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. It's the right strategy on the tires and when to pit, who to pit with, and then of course, like you said, kind of nailing your entries, getting down to speed, nailing your pit stall, and of course getting through the gears quick on exit. I mean, you've got to do all of them, Matt. And honestly, this is one of those ones where I almost feel like being on the pole might be a slight detriment, truthfully, because I feel like you can't really get fully up to speed. You're kind of still building speed once you get to the to the pit exit line. And so it's one of those things where it's a little trickier to make happen. So to me, something's starting. Yeah, so I think exactly right. I'd say there's going to be that magical stall where you can pretty much just foot to the floor, don't even have to worry about the pit speed limiter too. So, but right now, there goes dude. He will clear. He's going to drop to the bottom. Same thing. Gabe probably getting hot. You see the squirrels working to the 3rd lane. So now it'll be interesting to see, do they try to still work around the 88, or they can maybe try to tag on the back of him and push. But right now, I think they've got other plans. Let's say Carl's going to try to get himself to the point here. So right now, Gabe's kind of lonely in that middle lane. And you can see nobody wants to give him an opening to get in there because his teammates are all right in front of him. So doesn't really have an opening at the moment. But like I said, might get a little bit of a second chance here from the 30 car and company.
The squirrels should just come down, I think, right in front of Gabe, behind Gabe. Yep. No, they did for a second.
Still, maybe just steal a little bit of draft. You can see we're looking off the back of Dude's car. And yeah, you can see they've gotten to the outside of him. But right now, again, just a little bit of separation between the 30 and the 04. And it also, of course, these cars, Matt, there is some side draft. So, I mean, Gabe's not squeezing these guys by any means, but he is still getting some toe off of the sides of these cars. And that's why he's not just dropping like a rock. Because it does play a really big role in the way these cars race. And yeah, right now he's in the middle of the sandwich there in the 88.
Wow, I'm really quite shocked that that third lane did not really work.
Yeah, I think it's just, again, I just don't think they were quite tight enough. You can see now Gabe is running a lot tighter up to Vince here, trying to kind of steal some of that draft like I talked about, kind of that side draft. I don't know if it'll really slow Vince down per se. I mean, that's when we see it in the NASCAR series, the side drafting, it does. It kind of pulls more air onto that rear wing, slows that car down further. In this one, I'm not sure if it slows them down or maybe it speeds them up a little bit. But there you go again, though. The 30 is going to try it once more time, get a big run here, jump to the outside of the 88. But again, he kind of stalls out, Matt, once he gets alongside of Gabe. And that's about as far as he's able to go. And again, he's going to want himself and Ambrose to clear to have his best chance. But just a little bobble there through the travel. Just has not come to fruition as of yet.
Yeah. So you're looking at Ambrose and the 30 car of Carl Engel. They're not really close to each other because one more time they separate and then they just come apart. I think maybe Ambrose is just a little bit too aggressive on that rear bumper of Carl Engel there.
And now I think, Matt, they listen to, I think now they're going to kind of go with that plan. They're going to lock on behind the 88. And, well, we'll see. I'll say for a second, it looked like he was going to jump up top there. So we'll watch. And again, also the timing of that run to the outside is going to be crucial as well. But I think now that he's got the push he was looking for in the 88, I think another good turn here through 1 and 2 might be able to get Gabe clear. But again, you can see just a little bit of separation. And this is the difference, Matt. On the left side, look how tight Eric Lorry's been able to stay to the 14. And now you can see there's almost a car length or so between the 04 to the 30. And that's making a little bit of a difference as well, because while the third car doesn't need to be pushing the second car, you almost want to be as tight as you possibly can be without actually pushing to kind of just keep that car propelled a little bit further forward. So I think right now, like I said, it's just right now the 04 of Ambrose Kniebel just isn't quite tight enough to the 30. But again, though, I mean, we're only lap 14 coming to 15. There's really no need to go full aggressive. But again, though, I think that 30 wants to get to the front and kind of have a chance to control this race.
Yep. I even think he might have it here. Maybe.
He's got a little extra help. You can see the 17 Frank Ranger. He's on his way there too. And again, you can see they start to squeeze just a teeny bit there. But right now, everybody's still holding kind of station. Now there's a 17 he's going to get. And you can see now Ambrose is really tight on the back of the 30. And that's going to be what he needs to propel. And you can see there now the 30 clears. Ambrose is going to be pinned up top there. However, now Ambrose is going to have Carl, I apologize. He's going to get a great push from the 88 here, and that'll give that car a chance to try to take the point in this race. And sure, no. Oh, that was close.
Squirrels. A 30 car to the lead.
Yeah, that was close there. I think the 30 was clear, but I think Gabe was just so locked onto the rear bumper of the 30 that he kind of drifted down as well there. And you saw, dude, he dropped down a little extra just to make sure that they were able to kind of stay off one another. But yeah, very, very close call there. And so, Matt, We're already getting close to that window, probably about 10 more laps and that fuel window should open. Again, for that two-stop strategy, magic number to me is lap 26. Anything else further, you're kind of just playing with house money where maybe you don't have to save as much. But again, though, you want to make sure you've got people to work with. And really, other than a handful of guys, and you see Gabe is just able to slot in there in front of Vince, so he's going to be able to kind of take back over and kind of get himself in a comfortable position. And now you can see it's a little further back. These guys starting to try to dice it up a little bit. I think Jacob Lee, yeah, there's the 21 here. Jacob said, okay, I've done my sitting. I'm going to start to make a push here as well. So we can see Jacob's going to peak low. Nope, he's going to stay, kind of has to stay stuck behind, not stuck, stay tucked behind the 04 here. And now he's looking, maybe either just trying to get a view or trying to get some air on the nose of that car. But right now you see now there's 4 of them up top there. You've got behind the 17, you've got Jason Bogart there. And it looks like Jason's going to try to move a little bit forward here as well. So with that being said, watch for Zach Perry. I think Zach's going to want to do the same. I think the 21, the 17, and the 76 have been working together. So I would expect to see Zach move up at some point here. Just depends on how the momentum looks, though, if they want to try to jump from inside to middle.
I wonder what your dad thinks about that scheme every time you see the Sunoco 76 on there.
Yeah, so that's definitely one that's definitely got some fond memories, I think, for all of us. Let's say, like I said before, he switched over to that 51 car. It was pretty much always the Unical 76 car for Jim. So, yeah, so it's definitely one that I always see and I enjoy.
Well, we got a squirrel infestation up front.
Well, I say they gotta start prepping their nuts for the winter, Matt. So they're gonna start trying to get everything they can right now. But yeah, no, I'd say Carl obviously great pushes from Dude here. Jacob Lee's giving great pushes as well to Ambrose. But you say again, you see Ambrose, he's gonna drift up a little high, and at that point, Jacob, there's just nothing he can do. He's got to take that middle lane because otherwise, it's just gonna put himself in a bad spot.
I think so Frank is gonna be a nice guy. You let him back in.
Oh, that was close. Yeah, it was really close there actually between Jason and Frank, honestly. But again, everybody's able to square away there, and you see a little bit of movement. And yeah, now everybody's starting to find themselves, try to get themselves sorted back down to the inside, it looks like, which unfortunately is going to, again, Jacob Lee now, he's going to be a lonely man on that outside lane here for a moment.
Stuck on that outside, no room.
That said, though, him being stuck on the outside means we got plenty of time to check out that new paint scheme, I believe. And you also see the paint, the sponsor on the hood of that car. Trying to get a better look at that one. I want to say it's WB Creative Designs, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where a lot of detail goes into these, and you can see it on that one as well. It's hard to see when it's going 190 miles an hour plus by you. But yeah, it looks like a really nice paint scheme there with the purple, black, and silver accents on it, and the slight chrome on the door number 2, Matt. But yeah, the ones I'm watching, Matt, though, again, I'm thinking fuel mileage. I feel like Ed DeBoer in the 12 car, Nick Wing, Jim Brooks, Quabi Brooks, I think these guys are all saving. I think they're going to try to see if they can push one extra lap here. Let these guys up front kind of burn a little bit of extra fuel.
Right.
Some other guys that may be saving pretty well, though, too. I think Bud Steele's definitely been in a good spot to save fuel. I think he's just been kind of cruising in that 6 car. Eric Lorry's been pushing pretty hard at times, so I feel like Eric's probably burned a little bit as well. So yeah, so I'll have to keep an eye, but you can see right here, Jacob Lee's trying to go where the draft is, and so he's kind of jumped to the top there because that's where Jason Bogart is. I think he's trying to, yeah, and now they're trying to get themselves organized. You see Jason's up there with him, as well as Zach Perry. We'll hop on board with Zach. And again, their goal here is going to be to try to get all 3 of them clear of that middle lane, which right now has Frank Ranger Jr. leading that middle side, but right now, Matt, it just doesn't seem like that middle lane's got the shove that we might expect to see. I don't know if it's a car count thing or what, but close there out of tier 2. But yeah, right now that middle lane holds pretty strong again, even without a big push.
It's you see some cars, I'm watching them. You know, a little bit of lean it. You know, they lean toward the middle lane, and that 17 car is able to pick up the draft and be able to stay in position. But now it looks like the 21 is trying to push the 17. I'm not sure if excuse me, if Jacob Lee wants to fall online. I think he wants to get out there and lead and take it to pit road.
Yeah, no, I think he's trying to get up front to, like I said, because that's the next step, Mattis. Of course, you see the timing scoring on the left here. Right now, it's about a 1.5 difference between first to 15th. And again, you don't want to be pitting a 1.5 back. You want to be pitting within a much closer window. You saw Ambrose there, just I think maybe making some adjustments, and that's another thing is these guys, they're going to have to start adjusting. Do they want to take tires? If so, lefts. If so, rights. Fuel only. There's a lot of strategy there too. So sometimes as well, you got to be careful when you start trying to find those right things to make the adjustments, because a lot of people they don't have like the little hotkeys on their button box or steering wheel, so they might actually have to try to hunt their keyboard down, find the magic buttons. And we also have a handful of drivers racing VR, and just adds a whole another can of worms. But yeah, Matt, you're right. Wanting to get to the front is that number 21 of Jacob Lee, and he's done a great job pushing Frank to the point here. We'll see if he can get that 17 cleared of the 30. I think he might here entering 3, and we'll see if Frank takes that opportunity and drops down low. Yep, there he goes. And that's going to give those 1776 guys now they've got the 3 of them in a line here on the outside lane. And Matt, we're going to start lap 25 this time around. So again, this is, I think, the minimum they need to go. Next time it would be starting lap 26. So I think this would put them in the window to make it on a 2-stop strategy. But right now you can see now Carl pushing his blind squirrel teammate there in that 17, Frank Ranger Jr. now at the point.
Speaking of blind squirrels, I was looking at the very far back. Ambrose Neva, what are you doing back there, buddy?
Well,
he was like running 6th at the time, and then he almost lost the draft.
Yep, I was about to say.
He just came right back up. Now he's in the 2nd lane.
Yeah, I think these guys are starting to charge to try to get that track position before those pit stops. So again, I think what's going to happen here is as the pit stops start to get ready to kick off, I think we're going to start to see some drivers make that big charge as Frank continues to lead on the inside lane. The outside lane starting to build up a little bit, like I said, with those 3 cars on the outside. Now add the 04 to the mix, though. But what I suspect we're going to see is the guys that are going to be pitting the soonest are going to be those ones that we saw leading, like the 8, the 88, the 14. I think those guys will probably have to pit the soonest. And then I expect to see pretty much Bud Steele. I think basically the Roswell guys, Bud Steele, Ed DeBoer, Nick Wing, Quabi Brooks, Jim Brooks. I expect them to go probably 1 additional lap if they can, to basically try to make that big charge lap. So we'll see if we see any sharp left turns. Nope, not as of yet. So yeah, Matt, safely, I'm going to say 2-stop strategy. Scheduled distance should be no problem for all these guys. So they'll have to pit here in the next lap or 2. Then they'll come in one more time before the end of this race. And, of course, that's all pending this thing going wire to wire. If we get any extra time, probably going to have to throw a little extra fuel in these things. And it looks like Jacob and them have decided that we got to back it down here. We're going to have to get ourselves back in line. And that's exactly what they're doing. So I'm going to focus on Bud here, Matt, because I think Bud will be the one. If we see him jump up, I think you're going to see Ed follow. I think you're going to see Nick follow, Jim and Quabi.
All right. I'm getting the call. 30 car is heading down pit road right now.
Let's see if he's got some friends going with him. And yeah, it's going to be a busy entry here. Oh, I think
cars. Ambrose too.
I think Gabe may have had a hiccup there because he fell a fair bit back. He's like, yeah, these guys are all there.
No. Carl.
Oh, we got speed on entry.
We got speeders.
But yeah, I think
Frank Ranger Jr. and Carl Engel speeding on pit road.
Yeah, so that's a tough one.
Yeah.
So that's 6 of them.
What I keep telling you, Gael, mistakes on pit road cost you races.
Yeah, exactly. And that's also going to make it even harder for those that come out because they're going to have a smaller group of drivers to work with. But I think what happened there too is I think Gabe was trying to hit pit road, knew he wasn't going to make it, so he had to actually go one more around. And so now you got the rest of the field. You see the tires locking up.
Whoa. Hang on to it, fellas.
Oh, man. This might require some tire changes, Matt, just from the big lockups that all these guys had.
Oh,
but now it's all about everybody's
get busted.
Yeah, but I say he's going to have some company, unfortunately. But yeah, contact on the entry, the 17 and the 76 hitting each other there. Everybody's trying to find their pit stalls there. As you see the two that had the penalty, they're rolling now. Gabe, you can see he's kind of the lonely man. So this is what I talk about, the number one pit stall, Matt. I want to watch the 88 here to see how he compares. You can see there go the 6 and company.
Oh, no.
Oh, Gabe maybe sped too. Wow, so this is really going to shake up the order. The nice part is, though, for some of these guys is they're going to have a lot of help, though. So Jim and Gabe can try to work together. I think they should be able to tag on along with Carl Engel and Frank Ranger. So that should give them at least 4 cars to work together if they can get themselves organized. So right now, as these guys all build up speed right now, but Steele's got the point. Were those guys that pitted the lap before? They're coming now out of turn 2 with a head of steam. I'm really liking what Bud Steele and company were able to do. I think they're actually significantly clear here, Matt, where I'm not sure if those guys are going to catch back up to them in time. If these guys can get themselves organized, Quabi's got to give Jacob all the pushing he can help to get himself up to Nick Wing, but then it's 2 seconds back for these 3, so this trio here is going to have to push very aggressively for this to kind of be able to work out right now. So we'll keep an eye on them. I can tell you Gabe right now is the first car out of pit road of the penalty drivers. Jim's almost 4 seconds back, which was further than I expected. Then you got Carl Engel, Frank Ranger. So if they can get the 4 of them together, I think that's going to be their best approach here. And then I can tell you that you can see there the 53 is going to get the 21 up there. That'll give them 5 cars strong. And then it's just whether or not can this 8-car Dude Conrad, can he pick up enough draft off the 53 and be able to bring them back into this field here. So these guys, like I said, the top 5 are going to be pushing as hard as they can to break the 3 behind them. These 3 right here are going to be pushing as hard as they can to break that draft window. Just say if they can sniff it, they're going to be able to pull right back up in there.
They just cut down the lead.
I think they just hit it. Yeah, so 47-60 right for Dude Conrad, Vicente, and Eric Laurie. So, and yeah, it's hit the 1 second mark. So at this point, those 3 did catch it. So great job by Dude, Vince, and Eric to be able to hang back onto this main pack. So that's going to give us 8 drivers for the lead right now. And then in front of those leaders, here come those drivers that got put a lap down here on the speeding penalties. The 30, the 51, the 17, soon to be the 88 as well. And so now we're going to also have a 4-car lucky dog battle, Matt. And then add to at some point as well the 04 of Ambrose Knievel, because he's unfortunately kind of off solo, so they'll catch him in the next handful, probably about 10, 15 laps or so. So we're going to have some races within races. And I think what we're going to see here is some teamwork. Watch the 8 and the 14 and the 071. Do they try to work together to pick up that 88 car and keep Gabe as that lucky dog driver, or maybe even the tail end of the lead lap here?
I'm quite curious too. He's going high, and
yeah, and that's the standard protocol. The lappers usually try to move up top to kind of give room for the leaders to kind of continue on here. I was waiting to see. No, I'm surprised here. I expected to see Dude in them. Yeah, I really thought Dude would jump up there, and so now it's going to be the battle for Lucky Dog. Carlos wants to get around Gabe. I think he'll clear him. He will.
Yes.
So at the moment, the 30 car is the first car, one down. If there was a yellow, he would actually be the one to get his lap back. But again, though, he's going to have to fight the 88. He's going to have to fight the 17 and the 51, and they're all right together in this pack here.
That's insane. What a crazy turn of events here. Just one pit stop.
Yeah, just one pit stop, and I said, yeah, we've gone from 15 cars in the lead pack to now 8 drivers vying for the win. There's 12 cars in this pack, but 4 of those, again, fighting for the Lucky Dogs. Unfortunately, we do have 2 that are off the pack, but are at least got some draft here. That's Zach Perry and Jason Bogart. Unfortunately, they just did not have the pit stops they were hoping for. Fell off the draft and just having to try to catch back up. So they've got some work to do. But again, though, they have each other, so that's going to help their lap times to some extent. It's still not what they want. They're running 49.7s. Leader's running 49.1s. So it's a little over half a second a lap slower, unfortunately. But while I was looking at that, Matt, look who's working on being the tail end of the lead lap here. Actually, few drivers working to be tail end of the lead lap here. You got the 30 right now on the tail end. You got the 88 on the tail end. 17 of Frank Ranger's working on it too. At this rate, if there was a caution to come out, those three would actually get their laps back naturally. It'd be Jim Brooks who would get the lucky dog just because all these other lappers are ahead of the leaders.
You know, as say a driver's standpoint, that's actually really good. If you're on the lead lap and you're not really pushing, just want to save fuel, why not just use the lap car? Use him as bait. And
I don't know if that was the right call by Frank there. He jumped to the third lane, and
why, Frank?
Yeah, I mean, that's not going to work because right behind him was Dude Conrad. Dude said, thank you for that. I will go ahead and get onto my teammate here. He's going to bring Vince along. He's going to bring Eric along. And it looks like Jacob Lee as well. So, unfortunately, he's going to now fall over a lap behind. And now, with that, just that little section right there, Matt, now it's only Gabe Butler on the tail end of the lead lap. That's going to put now the 30 of Carl Lingle in that lucky dog position in the 30 car. And then it would from there it would fall to the 17 and then the 51. But right now, like I said, the 88, though, ahead of the leaders. If a caution were to occur, he would just go back on the lead lap naturally. And then the next car in line that isn't involved in an incident would be the wave around car, which, again, at the moment would be that 30 of Carl Lingle. But it's all changing again here. Vince is getting a good push from Eric Laurie, and that's putting Gabe now at risk of maybe being the first car lap down instead of being the wave around car. So it's interesting to see. And again, I mean, that's telling you that these guys aren't just rolling over for people. I mean, Eric's trying to push Vince, and then Dude's trying to push Gabe. But again, though, I'm not going to say it's going to hurt Gabe because he would still be the wave around car. But it would make him restart in the back of the field instead of being able to kind of cycle right up with the leaders, which, again, it's a 15-car field. It's not the end of the world. But, yeah, right. It's interesting to see, though, how this is all kind of playing out. So the other thing we got to start thinking about at some point, Matt, is fuel mileage. Again, we know that Jacob Lee, Bud Steele, Ed DeBoer, Nick and Quabi Brooks all in this lead pack pitted one lap later. And then we got to try to figure out, okay, some of those guys had to pedal really hard to catch them. So then the question, of course, is can they go maybe 2 laps further? Can they put less fuel in? Because, again, they almost broke that draft of Vicente, Dude, and Eric. So there's some thought here to save another extra lap or 2 and then go for it at the end to try to take the least amount of fuel you can to maybe break those guys, or you can just then kind of have I wouldn't say a team order finish, but basically kind of just run in tandem and then maybe settle amongst yourselves on the last lap, maybe out of turn 4 kind of a situation. So we'll see if it comes to that. I'll say we're just across the halfway point of this one here, about to complete lap 38, start 39. And Matt, let's run through the field.
Go for it.
We're going to start
TNT run through the field.
No. We're going to start off with our race sponsor and leader. That is Vicente Guerrero with that Vince Service and Repair at the point in that number 14 machine. Right behind him for position is the third car line. That is Dude Conrad. He's in the X-Mark Original Parts Chevrolet. And he started in 4th up into 2nd. Right behind him, again, now 2 further cars back again with the lappers. Eric Laurie in his iconic John Deere machine is in 3rd, right where he started. And then right behind him, another Chevrolet here, and that is Jacob Lee. As then he's got we'll see if we can get a good look. Again, I think it's WB, if I'm not mistaken, on the sponsorship there.
It is.
And again, that's the graphics designer for his paint scheme. And a really good looking paint scheme there for him. He's up 8 spots currently, Matt, into that 4th spot. Rounding out our top 5 is that Navy machine of Bud Steele, right where he qualified, and I think he's got these guys right where he wants them at the moment. Behind him, new to the league, but not new to super speedway racing, and that is Ed DeBoer. Ed has definitely been taking this one on pretty strong. He's been very solid in his first couple of races, and it's not going to take long before we see him up front regularly in this one. And so he seems. I mean, I know he's done super speedway races elsewhere, but yeah, he's been really, really good with these guys. He's meshed really well with a lot of the drivers right off the bat as well. Then we got Mr. Fuel Calculator, and that is Nick Wing. He's definitely been one that I think has capitalized on the fuel mileage, fuel strategies. He's done a great job in that number 28. He sits in 7th. Right behind him is the favorite son, Quabi Brooks, in the 53 machine. He's able to kind of make some races here and there, and he's got the Volkswagen Jetta there, Natural Grocers on the hood and the side. That is a sponsorship for his cycling that he does. So say one of his side things, he pedals himself way too often, but he sits himself in the 8th spot. And then unfortunately, some of these guys had fallen off the draft. Jason Bogart there in the 9th position, and he's got his teammate right behind him with Zach Perry. And again, still in top 10, still on the lead lap, about a full backstretch away. But right now, let's say they are at least able to kind of minimize damage loss with each other, working together. Then, Matt, we go to the Lucky Dog battle. At the moment, Gabe Butler, he is the first car one down, but I think I just saw Vince way up to the top here. That is going to go ahead and allow Gabe to take the point, and now he's again tail end of that lead lap. So he's going to be able to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. Should we get a yellow, that puts the Lucky Dog spot now to this 30 car of Carl Lingle. Again, unfortunately, speeding penalties for he and Gabe. Another speeding penalty is that one car behind is that chrome, green, and black carbon fiber. That is Jim Brooks in that 51 Area 51 machine. And then we go to Frank Ranger here on the outside line. He as well caught speeding on pit road. And then add our last lap down car here. Just didn't quite catch the draft on the pit cycle. And that is going to be Ambrose Kniebel there in the 04. And so those are our 15 drivers, Matt, as we ran through everybody. And yeah, right now, like I said, Matt, I think a lot of these guys are just kind of plotting here, trying to make sure that they got the numbers that they need, because we still got to go 33 more laps, which means 8, 9, maybe even 10 more laps until we see that final pit stop here shortly.
Oh, man.
I'm starting to see some movement.
I'm seeing your dad back there.
Oh, didn't work out because
I think they left. No, he's going.
Yeah, he's going to go back down. I think he tried to work the outside line. He saw they were going to ditch him, and he's like, I'm going to go ahead and drop back down. But at some point, though, yeah, I mean, he's going to have to start thinking about he's going to have to push forward because, again, right now, he's got to go a handful of cars up. There's the 51 there towards the back. Carl Ingles all the way up there, third car in line. So, I mean, he's got to get through about half the field here to even have a chance to get into that Lucky Dog spot. So it's that balance of what risk reward do you want to take. Again, he did pit a lap later, so he'll have some more fuel on board. It just depends again on how hard did he have to drive to get into that draft as well. So that's gonna be the question mark. And yeah, it's one of those things where maybe it's worth just kind of riding and hoping you get that timely yellow. But of course, in a field like this, it's really hard to expect to get too many laps back. And Matt, lap time wise, I think these guys are making sure that they can make it. I think the pace is backed to down just a teeny bit. I'm seeing about low 48s right now when the best laps were in the low 47s. So I think this pace has definitely backed it down a little bit. And yeah, I'm going to say for sure because I'm looking at Jason Bogart, Zach Perry. Well, they still running 41 teens, so it's. Yeah, I don't think they're running as fast as they could. I mean, you can watch Dude Conrad here. We'll get a good look at this, Matt. But you'll be able to see, I don't think the 8's really pushing the 88 now at this point. I think he's just kind of staying close to him, but not actually locking bumpers. And I think that's kind of the telltale that they're not going 10/10ths right now in these guys. I think they're just waiting and biding their time for it to be really time to drop this hammer and go full tilt.
Yeah, you'll see it after this pit stop here. Drivers trying to push the envelope a little bit harder, race a little harder, start, the usual. Don't give drivers, not much room.
Yep. More take, less give.
Yep.
All right, so strategy-wise now, Matt, again, we know that these guys can make it to the end on one more stop here. Obviously, the decision of 2 tires, 4 tires, fuel only. I'm going to start with the fuel side of things. Do you take enough fuel for green-white checkers, or do you take the bare minimum to get to the completion of lap 75 in this one?
As for looking at the cars on the lead lap, I would take the bare minimum. Because if you would have come down pit road, at least you still have a shot at it. You know, come in and take 4 tires, gas it up, you're ready to go. And those guys up front, you know, are pretty much teetering on fuel, you know, just trying to save and save and save. Yeah, I would just take the bare minimum. But look on this outside now, Gael. I think the 17 and the 04 are trying to make a statement.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job working together there, and I think that also does tell us, like we said, about the pace, maybe dropping a teeny bit. But yeah, no, I'm 100% with you, Matt. I take bare minimum here, partially again because yeah, you want that track position, but also because it's not a huge field here tonight. So there's 15 cars. If there's a late yellow, we get that green-white checkered. Even if you have to pit and top off, it's not the end of the world to me. So I think it's worth the gamble, especially again if you're one of those guys that was able to pit the lap leader. You almost broke that draft between some of these guys like the 8 and the 071 and the 14. So if you're saving more than them again and you can go a little bit longer, save a little bit more fuel, put a little less fuel at the end, I think that's the gamble I would be taking. All right,
we're approaching the window here shortly.
Yep, we're coming to 27 to go. So yeah, I think that window opens, I would say safely opens in about 3 laps. And that's the other part actually, Matt, is they could decide to go ahead and short pit as soon as the window opens, because you can pit here without losing a lap. So you could see kind of a undercut, if you will, where maybe we see Bud Steele and Ed DeBoer and company maybe jump in as soon as they're in their window. But last time, like I said, they went a lap longer. So there's 2 ways of doing this. You could go longer and then just adjust your fuel, or you can pit as soon as you're in your window and you're still filling it, but still less fuel to fill it to the brim. So yeah, there's a couple approaches you could see here. And it just depends. And also, of course, if you're just trying to save as much fuel as you can, to continue to save now would be the way to go. And I think we're seeing right here some teamwork here. I think Carl's trying to let his teammates slot in there. The 04 is able to clear, but not the 17 yet. But I think these guys are trying to open up the window here to let his teammates slot on in. And this is now where, again, if I'm Bud Steele and Ed DeBoer and company, this is my time where I'm saying, all right, these guys are backing it way down here. Our pace has dropped a bunch. Let's go. Let's basically kind of make these our push laps here before these guys pit. That way, again, we're not pitting half a second back or more. We're pitting as if we were at the very front of the pack during the cycle. So I'm kind of curious to see if that comes into fruition or not. But right now, no blinks yet here. But this will be 25 to go here, Matt. So we are at 2/3 distance, and I think now safely in our fuel window for our scheduled distance.
I am not. I'm just really surprised how much. Excuse me, Carl Lingo on the bottom there. I'm really not surprised that he's not going with his teammates up there. But we are close to that window.
Yeah, I think he doesn't want to risk getting pinned up top and having to pit.
Plus, he's actually fighting his teammates here. To stay.
That's true. Yeah, right now it's actually Frank Ranger who's right now the first car one down. So yeah, right now it's the team battle here between actually all 3 of them, the 30, the 04, and the 17, trying to be that lucky dog. Right now you can see Frank was just a nose ahead and still just a nose ahead as well, but every so often it ebbs and flows between the 30 and the 17. Now you can see Carl is now snuck just in front of him. But it looks like, again, out of 2, it's probably going to cycle back to the 17 of Frank Ranger. So yeah, so it's very intriguing to see that kind of the inner team battle right now for that lucky dog position. And again, if the 04 can push the 17 past the 8, it would actually be then the 04 at the moment of Ambrose Knebel that would be the one to get that wave round. So it's a very interesting kind of balance of how hard you want to push and everything. But like I said, Matt, safely in the window here to the end. We got 23 to go at the line. We know everybody can make it from here. There's first. Oh, I got nervous there for a second. Saw dude kind of drift up just a teeny bit in the travel. But now you can see these guys getting a lot more aggressive, trying to see if they can clear that inside line. But I think now what's going to happen is you're going to see dude push Gabe a little harder to try to make sure he does not get that opening to those guys. He does not want to let them clear. They want to kind of keep that outside line, or sorry, keep that front to themselves. But yeah, and there's the big push by the 8 to the 88. I can tell you, Jason Bogart, Zach Perry, they just hit pit road. This is, again, their scheduled stop. Oh, a little bit off center. Oh,
careful.
Good adjustment. That was almost very bad,
Yeah.
but it was great reaction by the 04. He backed off of it a little bit to let them kind of let his teammates settle it back out. So yeah, so great heads up driving by the two of them to make sure that they didn't get hooked there.
That was almost a disaster. But Ambrose is really just beating off the back bumper of that 17 car.
Yeah, Ambrose is definitely doing everything he can to try to get Frank back cleared. It just unfortunately hasn't quite happened yet. But again, though, I mean, it's definitely not for lack of effort. But I think pit's probably going to be happening, I say this time, Matt. I think we're going to see some cars hit pit road.
I ain't surprised Carlingo didn't let any of them in.
I kind of thought the same. I really thought someone would drop in front of him. But yeah, they haven't done it yet. And yep, Here we go. Pit
I was
stops.
going to stay out with them.
So we got the boot knockers and Vicente coming in together. Oh, I'm a little nervous about Gabe's entry there. He was pretty hot there, but we'll have to wait and see. And so we'll see the four of them together. And now, like I said, this is where now these guys got to charge. And so right now you can see Carl Lingle, he's now the tail end of the lead lap. Jacob Lee's our race leader. And like I said, this is where now these guys, they got to push. They got to stay very aggressive here. Jacob's going to need to push that 30 for all he's worth. They just got to be very tight on the draft because they've got the numbers, Matt. They've got 4 drivers in the pits, and there's a bunch more of them here. So this is where you got to try to capitalize. I also am curious to see, do these guys go even one extra lap, or do they react and jump all in together? And yeah, there you go. They're going to continue on here. So they're going to be able to get really good mileage. And now it's Bud's job. Bud's got to push that 21 for all he's worth here. And I can tell you, for those that pitted, they've got 3 of them together, Matt, but they don't have the 4th. And that missing driver again, Matt, is Gabe Butler. I think once again got caught speeding on entry. I think he's just about to get rolling. There he goes again. It's just not been the night for him. And now look at this too. These guys aren't staying organized right now. You see the 14 letting those 71 go. This is boding very, very well right now for this group here. And I think if they can stay organized, if they can all nail their pit entries, and here they come, they're going to come in together. Looks like a little bit of contact.
Oh, Jacob, you're coming in a little bit hot, buddy. Oh, can you get down? Oh, Ed, the boy, oh, you spun it.
Oh, yeah. Ed had a little bit of contact with Nick Wing, so unfortunately that's going to drop Ed out of the draft. Now it's whether or not anybody had speeding penalties, because they still could have 5 cars. Now everybody's got to hit their pit stalls. Oh, no, Jacob had to push up a little bit to get his pit stall. So now it's just all about who's able to get in and out the best. It looks like a lot of fuel-only stops here, and I'm seeing, looks like all 5 of these guys are going to come out pretty nicely together here. So this could be exactly what these guys need. Nick Wing is going to have to hope for a little bit of some drafting help. It looks like they'll definitely get the 4 of them. Waiting for Jim Brooks to tag on. He's going to be close to being able to back onto them. But yeah, right now, they could break from Vicente and Company. And we're going to go back. We'll find Dude Conrad. Here they come with a big head of steam out of turn 2. So they're there out of 2. There's Nick Wing coming down the backstretch. It's going to be close. It's going to be just like last time. It's going to be pretty nip and tuck. I think, though, I think they've done a good enough job here to be able to close that gap because it's already down to 2 seconds and closing quicker. So I'm going to say, yeah, job done. Great job by these three. I was nervous about it just based on the organization they had, but they're there. They've already caught them. So we have 7 cars here vying for the win now.
Few pit stops, Kyle.
And they're going to take that momentum straight to the top here, see if they can get to the point. Dude Conrad's going to try to take the lead of this race here away from Nick Wing.
8 speeding penalties.
It's been catching these guys, unfortunately. Time I can tell you also, unfortunately, it was a speeding penalty again for Jason Bogart. That caught him as well. So this field is very spread out, and it looks like I think actually Carl Lingle may have retired, unfortunately. So I think he's out of the race. So tough one for him there. You see them just about to catch Gabe. That's actually going to put Gabe 2 laps down right now, Matt. And then for the Lucky Dog battle, right now, actually, he's kind of in a safe spot right now. Jim Brooks, he's the only car a lap down in this main pack, so that's actually a great opportunity for him. You see Jacob Lee there. I think he was trying to steal a little bit of draft off of Gabe. Gabe's going to have to try to be quick here to sneak in right behind Jim, pick up his draft so he can stay in this. So, yeah, so now it's strategy time, though, Matt. You've got the 3 drivers up front here, I think all working together. We've seen them pit together with Vicente, Eric, and Dude. Obviously, Gabe as well, and we'll see, again, Gabe can play a role in this one if he can stay in this draft here, which I think he should be safe. He can still find a way to help his teammates here to be able to try to see if they can get a podium finish for the 3 of them. But I think what you're going to see at some point, again, still a lot of time here, a lot of strategy that's going to come into play, but I expect to see Nick Wing, Bud Steele, Quavi Brooks, they're going to make a charge on that second lane at some point. So while things settle in here, Matt, we're going to go side by side and show off a wonderful sponsor from our good friends Ryan and Caitlin Decker, and that is with Sensi. So we'll be right back. Well, we're not going to miss any action, though.
At Sensi, we love fragrance. How it makes us feel. How it connects us to our deepest memories. How sharing those memories connects us with each other.
And as it turns out, there's a lot of people who feel the same way and share Sensi's core values of simplicity, authenticity, and generosity. Our beautiful campus in Meridian, Idaho welcomes employees, consultants, and the community year-round.
That's why we've grown from selling just warmers and wax to selling a complete line of products so you can fill your life with fragrance no matter where your day takes you.
Whether it's fun partnerships with beloved brands, innovative, high-performing cleaning products, laundry care that smells as good as it works, or personal care products to create your signature scent, Sensi products are made to share.
Maybe that's why our culture has always felt like family. We call it Sensi Spirit. It's a feeling of love, acceptance, generosity, and community that we share freely with everyone we meet. And we welcome you to experience it yourself. Like it? Buy the product. Love it? Host a get-together with your friends. Want more? Start your own Sensi business. You can earn amazing trips around the world and rewards. You can work your business whenever and wherever you want, giving you more time for the things and people that matter most. Ask your Sensi consultant for more info.
All right, we are back, and we're coming around, Matt, to 13 to go. And like I said, right now, I think everybody's just kind of, it's becoming that chess match. Everybody's waiting till they want to make their move and figure out when is that time to make the move. And then also, who do they have to work with? I mean, do we see Dude, Eric Laurie, Vicente Guerrero, do they just stay locked onto each other and stay dedicated as they are? Does Vicente maybe look to see if he can find Nick Wing to make a move, maybe jump in front of him to steal a little bit of extra push? I feel pretty confident that we'll see Bud Steele and Quavi Brooks jump up top with Nick Wing. I could see Jacob Lee again. He's kind of the dark horse in this, in my opinion. He's been working with Jason Bogart and Zach Perry. Unfortunately, their races haven't gone quite to plan. So he's kind of now got himself in a position where he's got to try to kind of like make some friends, basically. Like, hey, I'll work with you if you want to help me out too. And of course, then we go to the drivers that are lapping more down that they can play an outcome in this one. Jim Brooks, again, first car 1 down. Gabe Butler's 2 down, but again, he can also obviously a great pusher in his own right. So that said, though, Matt, we're about to have a lucky dog battle once more because we're going to see Zach Perry here. He is shortly about to get swallowed up by Jason Bogart, I should say, by the field as they're halfway down the back. There's Dude and Company, and they're closing quick. So that's going to then once again put Jim Brooks up against the 76 car to try to be the first car 1 down should we get a yellow as we're about to hit 11 to go. And I do need to also mention, of course, Matt, unfortunately, Ed DeBoer is stuck on his own. He will eventually also get lapped because he has no drafting help. And that's such a bummer. I say there was a little contact with he and Nick Wing, and I think that just kind of got him a little bit off-centered. And at that point, you're just trying to save that car, trying to recover. Unfortunately, just wasn't quite able to catch that tank slapper, and that sent him around. And unfortunately, that's what was his undoing as well with the draft. So just tough situation for Ed, but like I said, he's going to stick with it here. And again, you never know here. I mean, we got 10 laps to go. These guys are going to start to get aggressive, and you don't know how it's all going to shake out. So we have 7 drivers at the moment who could win this race.
You never know. A caution may fly. Oh, did I say that?
I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, so they're about to pick up the draft of that 04 of Ambrose Kniebel. I'll say that's going to then bring them up even closer to Zach Perry and Jason Bogart, like we had just mentioned, as we just hit 10 to go. And so, yes, like I said, now it's just to kind of figure out, okay, what moves do you make when? I think we see pretty good dedication between Eric Laurie and Dude Conrad. I don't think we'll see Eric kind of rock the boat too much there. I think we'll probably see Vince stick with them as well. I don't see anything changing. I think that's who he's been working with all race. So I think that's what I expect to see there. I think for me, it's maybe when do we see that move happen? Because we've definitely seen that third lane, Matt, has not worked so far. And then we can also add that the second lane has worked. And I think the second lane will have numbers when Nick decides to make his move. If you're Dude Conrad, do you stay on the bottom here? Do you use the yellow line to your advantage? Or do you maybe say, hey, you know what? You try to pass us on the inside, and we'll try to keep you pinned on down low on the top side and maybe see if that's the winning move. So I have seen a lot of times that it does seem like the inside line kind of gets a little bit just maybe bottled up a little bit where you can't get that full momentum on exit.
Usually the second lane does prevail. Just as we saw before, not many cars were up top. I remember, what was it, the 17 and the 04. They had pretty much just nobody behind them, and they can still keep up. Now, if I had more cars behind them, they can have that more momentum. But we do have some lap cars coming, Gael, as you saw in your picture there.
Yep, they're coming up on Ambrose. Yep, Ambrose is up first. You can see he's already gone all the way to the third lane again. That's just the respect that these guys give for one another. It hasn't been his night tonight, unfortunately, but he's going to give way here again. He's going to try to tag onto the back of this field again. That way he can see if he can hold on the draft and maybe just salvage. I mean, if you can salvage a couple of spots and a couple of points, that's definitely worthwhile. And then same thing, maybe at some point if he can help one of his teammates as well in the process. So, but here we go, Matt. The moves are starting to happen. As I said, I saw Nick Wing peek, and he's thinking about it. He's trying to find where that momentum needs to come from.
Yep, I think those 4 cars together in the back, Nick Wing, all them, and I'm just counting it down. Just when are the moves going to be made? So I'm looking at those lap cars. They might play a role in here.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I'm going to say actually Nick's got to wait because I don't think he's going to make the move because right now, Dude is getting a lot of draft off of those 2 in front of him, Jason Bogart and Zach Perry. You see them now. They jump to the third lane again, just the respect being given. But yeah, I think once they clear them, this will open up the opportunity for Nick. But again, he's got to time this right because you want to make sure you get the momentum, you get the run. To my opinion, I think coming out of turn 2 is your best approach. If you catch him entering 3, you jump top, you're going to lose some of that momentum. You also see they're just about to come up on Ed DeBoer. And then at that point, they've got about a half lap to the next car, which should be that 17 of Frank Ranger Jr. So yeah, so now it's Nick's opportunity here to figure out, okay, when am I going to make this work? How do I want to make this work? And then how do I get organized as well with Bud Steele? You see Ed there. He's going to try to jump a little low because, again, he's going to be battling for that lucky dog spot. He's going to have competition from Jim Brooks. He's going to have competition from Zach Perry. And that's why they're going 3 wide there. Zach's going to jump back top here. He wants to try to get around these guys. Oh, I think the 17 just got sucked into the wall there. Again, these cars are not symmetrical, Matt. The right rears does stick out a little bit. And I think that's what caught the 17 there for just a second. But yeah, that lucky dog battle right now is starting to kick off here. Right now, again, Jim currently has it. Ed's going to want to try to find a way to get it, as is Zach Perry. So we're coming down to it here, though, Matt. 5 to go here at the line. Look at Nick Wing. He's starting to fall back a little bit. He's trying to build that momentum, Matt.
I'm looking back there. I'm watching the 21 car. He's just trying to move up, trying to show Quabi, hey, man, let's go. Run the island laps. We got like 5 to go. And
there he
it's
goes.
time to go. There we go.
So Nick Wing's going to get alongside Vicente. Not enough yet to get all the way to the front, but again, it's, I think, just a matter of time for this. And then also for Jacob Lee, again, his teammates, they just got lapped. They could play a role too. They can maybe get up to Jacob, and Jacob could try to lead that third lane with help from Zach and from Jason. So we'll see here, but like I said, 5 to go, 4 to go now at the line. Right there, Nick Wing did have the lead there by about 0.04 of a second. And now it's going to, again, now the pushing's going to start to get aggressive. You see some other drivers trying to hop into the mix as well. And like I said, Matt, this is where everybody's going to start to push a little harder, squeeze a little tighter. A lot of motion happening here. Look at Vicente. He's going to jump middle, but they got to make sure they give him room. And Vince is going to be middle 3 here with the 53 as well as the 8 car.
Yep, 21's going to go with him. Nope.
Oh, contact.
Don't leave your brother out to dry.
Nick Wing, he was cleared. He got in front of the 8. The 6 is trying to follow along, but obviously he couldn't clear, so he had a little bit of door contact there with the 8. Everybody stays pointed in the right direction. But yeah, you're right, though. I think at some point here, now you got the 2 Roswell teammates side by side. They are going to try to control this as a little bobble there.
A little bit. Yeah, that was a little bit scary. I think it was Duke Conrad who caught the apron a little bit.
They're working on catching to that 17 of Frank Ranger. Again, probably another couple laps here. I think it'll be before the end of this one. But again, though, I'm watching the 76 and the 17 of Jason Bogart and Zach Perry. If they can get up there, I know Jacob Lee would love to see them help him out to see if he can make a charge. But right now, though, Bud Steele, he's kind of kept Dude Conrad, pinned to the inside. But again, I think eventually we're going to see an attempt be made by that 14 as well, Vicente Guerrero. The question mark he is, of course, is going to still have is, does he think Jacob's going to go with him or not? But again, Matt, we haven't seen that third lane work very well, so it's going to have to happen soon here because we're 2 to go.
Oh, they are coming on a lap vehicle.
Oh, a little bit of contact.
Got the wall.
Oh, multiple cars involved.
Did you have yellow?
Yep,
That
caution's
is.
out. Oh, they're going to stack them back up here. We'll have to, so this, again, we talked about the numbers, Matt. We're going to have a green-white checkered here, and it is going to be fuel mileage. I think these guys are going to have to throw some fuel in it. Let's go back and see what exactly happened, because I'm not sure. Something happened to the 04. Not sure if he had contact or maybe something else, but let's go back. Try to get a better angle of it here. All right, so we're watching the 04. And
That's awfully strange.
yeah, the car just kind of drags out to the wall, and then from there just ricochets across, and just unfortunately nothing for Ed to do, nothing for Gabe. And oh man, also collects Zach Perry. And I think Jason Bogart just sneaks by. Yeah, he does. So unfortunately, I don't know what happened there. It's definitely an odd situation. But what I can tell you is beneficiary of that one should be this guy right there in the 51, Matt. I think that will put Jim back on the lead lap. And unfortunately, too, I think with pretty much everybody else being involved in that incident, I don't know if anybody's going to be able to wave around to go ahead and try to get themselves back on the lead lap that way. Because, again, Ed's got damage. He's going to need to get fixed. You can see how damaged that car is, unfortunately, in the 12. Zach Perry, same thing. He's got pretty good damage, as well as Gabe Butler. So I don't think those guys are going to be able to wave around. So we'll watch pit stops here. I think these guys should pit. Again, it's not a big enough field here.
Yeah.
There's only like 7 cars on lead lap. I think it's the right call by Vince.
2.
Only 2 leaders. I like this because, again, if there's multiple attempts, I don't think these other guys have the numbers. So I like the call by Vince. I like the call by Quabi. So we'll have to wait and see. But what we can do, Matt, is we got to show off our wonderful sponsors, and that is going to be Whiplash SimCams. We'll be right back. All right, Matt. I'm blaming you, by the way, because you said if a yellow, we got the yellow. But no, joking. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so man, I'm not sure. I mean, you already see Bud Steele. He's already rolling the apron, and I'm sure these guys are all clutching it and saving as much as they can. We'll hop on and we'll listen, and it sounds pretty quiet in that 6 car.
Yes,
but
it does. It's silent.
I like the 53. I like the 14 because, again, if there's more than one attempt, I don't think any of these guys can go any further. Obviously, Jim Brooks is also going to be in that mix as well. You see him catching up to the field. He's now back in the thick of it. Downside for Jim is he's got about, 5 lap cars in between himself and the leaders of this race. So, again, if we get another one, he's in a great spot too because same thing. He can go ahead and stay out. Those guys probably pit, and he might jump to maybe 3rd position. So Bud Steele, Nick Wing, Dude Conrad, Eric Laurie, Jacob Lee, they want this thing to be one attempt, I think. I don't know if they have more than that in the tank because, again, this caution came out, Matt, with 2 to go. So it's not even like it's a barely overtime. They've run now an extra 2 laps basically, of course under caution speeds, but that's still further distance than they were planning on going by a good margin here. So it's gonna be interesting. We also got teammates on the front 2 rows here, so we'll see. Do they just try to kind of does Roswell try to keep the 2 boot knockers lined up behind him? And then what do we see from the 3rd lane? Where does Jacob go? Where does Vicente go? It's going to be fun to see what the strategies are here. Can Jacob get lined up with his teammates there, Zach Perry and Frank no, not Frank Ranger. Sorry, Jason Bogart. We'll see here, Matt. This is attempt number 1 here.
Oh boy, I'm nervous.
Green flag's out. You see right there, right off the bat, dude gives a little shot to the 6, help him propel just a little further ahead. And again, this is actually a good opportunity for Dude. If Dude can push that number 6 clear of the 28, he could try to jump to that outside line. So we'll see. The short distance always prevails through 1 and 2. Then we usually see the outside line start to make a good push there down the backstretch. But right now, I'm saying that the 8 car's locked on to the back a little better than the 071. And now they start to get organized. Here comes that second lane here, start to make that push down the back.
It's going to be non-stop pushing.
Yeah,
That's all you're going to see.
Temperatures should be solid. These guys should just be able to lock on and push as hard as they can. Oh, Jacob Lee drifts up just a little bit to Vince. Everybody's able to gather back up there. They got to get to the white, though, Matt, before this one is official. So we'll see if they can get through the trial over here. Looking pretty steady so far. It looks like we will make it. So 1 to go here at Talladega. 1 attempt only needed. Jacob Lee gets the top, and look who's behind him, Matt. He's got his teammates here. Watch for that third lane to form here at some point. Oh, Eric Laurie up top.
Oh, Jacob was going to go high with those 71, but whoa.
Did Eric run out of fuel, possibly? We'll try to go back and check, but we're going to watch for the lead
third
here.
lane. There's Jacob Lee on the high side. He's got his teammates right behind him.
He's got good momentum, too, because the middle lane doesn't have a lot of numbers here. They're going to start to get tight on each other. Oh,
the 17 caught the wall. Oh, my God.
A little bit of contact.
Huge net code on.
That's going to let Bud Steele have a little bit of a nose, but now he's going to play defense because Dude Conrad's going to try to go low. He's going to go underneath him. Quabi Brooks is going to be now the pusher on the inside lane. Dude's got the nose ahead here.
Dude's got it.
At the line, Dude Conrad gets the win over Bud Steele. Quabi Brooks going to grab third. Jacob Lee, Vicente Guerrero going to be our top 5. Man, that all best plans came undone there, I think, for all of those guys at the end. We're going to go back. So I got to see what happened to Eric here first off, because something went off to me to the 071. So we're going to start with Eric here, see if we can figure out what happened. Did that car possibly sputter, or was there a little bit of an issue? Because he just jumps to the top here. Or is that also a weird netcode situation? That car just kind of jumped. I'm confused on that one, Matt, myself.
Yeah, that is some huge net code.
We'll go back one more time. We're going to hop on here and listen. I think he's out of fuel.
Wow.
So
I'm interested.
So I think that's what happened to Eric, and then we watched the push down the back here. And yeah, you're right, though. The 17 caught the outside wall a little bit. That unfortunately, since that cost Jacob all his help there at the end. And then that kind of just, I'll say, is a great outside-inside move by Dude Conrad. And actually, I'm going to go back, same thing. I got to show that one more time, too, because Bud went top. He tried to protect here. So we'll focus on the 8 car. We'll get a better angle as well. So watch the 8. The 6 knows he's going to jump top. Bud's going to protect. But then Dude grabs a really sharp right here. Bud's moving up. Dude says immediately, all right, we're going low. And there's just nothing that Bud can do about it. You can see Dude clearly stays inside or outside, I guess, in this case, the white line. And just a really, really great move. And at that point, there's just Bud's doesn't have enough draft there because Nick Wing has too much momentum. He's got to stay to the outside, and that allows Quabi Brooks to kind of just push the inside line. And he wants to help Bud Steele, but there's just nothing at that point he can do because he's got nowhere to go. He's got the 6 to his outside. He's got Vicente's right there as well, and this is that dash to the finish. And just a wild one here at the end. But at the end of it, Dude Conrad's going to come away with the top spot. So we will jump back live because I think Dude's doing some celebrating, if I'm not mistaken. Nah, he's already made his way back to pit road. He's finished his celebrations. Oh, he's going to celebrate with the pit stall. Well, while we watch him celebrate, Matt, let's go and pull up our final results. and it is going to be Dude Conrad getting the win here this evening by 0.06 of a second over Bud Steele, Quabi Brooks, Jacob Lee, Vicente Guerrero are top 5, and then Nick Wing and Jim Brooks are lead lap finishers. And then, unfortunately, I mentioned, I think Eric Laurie running out of fuel there at the end. Ed DeBoer and Zach Perry stay trapped 1 down. And then just unfortunately tough night, especially on the pit stop side, I think, with the penalties for Gabe Butler, Jason Bogart, Frank Ranger, Ambrose Knebel, and then early retirement, unfortunately, for Carl Lingle in the number 30 machine. So now we get a chat with some fellas. And we're going to start off. I think you're getting it ready, Matt, because we got a favorite son to chat with here. So we're going to bring the favorite son on in. It's always awkward when the second favorite has to interview the favorite. I feel like tonight's ending there was kind of the best laid plans. Didn't quite go the way any of you were expecting. It looked like you and Bud and Nick were all kind of trying to work together, and then just kind of coming out of 4, just everything, just not much you could do. I mean, it's Bud tried to block Dude is able to cut down to the bottom, and then I mean, at that point it's like, well, I can't just roll over. I mean, you got to keep going for your best position. I mean, take us through. Was there any strategy, or was it just let's see how it shakes out there at the end?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have plans, you have strategy, and then you're presented with whatever you see out your windshield. So we were pushing pretty well on the low line, Dude, Bud, myself, and I was just trying to get that low line working, give as much advantage as we could get there. And yeah, coming out of 4, Bud went high, Dude went through, and he had a lot of momentum. And yeah, like you said, like, you know, I can't, there's nothing I can do. I was like, all right, I can't go left, I can't hit the brakes, I can't roll out of it, can't go right. So we went forward and worked out for him. Bud got a good result as well, so can't complain too much.
All right, so then my other question was the 2 green flag pit stops. You guys were able to go a fair bit longer than the rest. The first time, I mean, you guys were so close to maybe being able to break the draft. Was that the plan for the second one as well, as to just kind of run long and kind of get everything you could? And then was it basically make it the bare minimum to the end, or did you, I mean, obviously they had enough to make it the 1 extra, green, white, checkered, but I mean, what was the strategy there? Is it seemed like it almost paid off perfectly, where the short pit stop and just about able to clear those guys. How did that one pan out?
Yeah, I mean, it would take a lot of perfection from every individual to really make a gap that would stick. So yeah, I think it was more like don't lose ground. Try not to go in with a gaggle where people can go around. You know, in the last pit stop we did have a spin out, and you know, I narrowly avoided it. So I think objective 1 was stay out of trouble. Objective 2 was at least don't get dropped. So that worked out pretty well. I think Nick ran out of fuel coming to the line, so he cut it a little close, and I topped off at the yellow because tires actually mattered a little bit here. You know, if you're in the bottom lane, the car did want to wash up, so I figured not a lot of track position to lose, be a little more conservative, throw a couple gallons in there, and definitely be good to go, and it was good to go.
That was a really good result for you in that lovely painted Volkswagen Jetta you got over there. But no, I mean, a great run tonight. Obviously, say when you're able to make these, it's always fun to have you, and obviously our dad racing and everything. So, but yeah, say with that top 3, we got to give you the floor for any thanks and shouts. I know you got some real life sponsors for your 2-wheel in action, so definitely want to give you the floor here.
Yeah, well, thanks for the paint job. I think Matt was giving me a hard time for it being a Jetta. Yeah, so maybe I'll have to change it to Audi S4 or something now. Yeah, thanks for the paint job. It's, you know, my cycling team and all of our sponsors on there. Thanks to you guys for commentating. It probably was a little bit of a dull race for a bit, but started heating up at the end, so hopefully we gave you some good action. And Yeah, it's good to run with the old man, and good to hear from the least favorite son. I know this is probably,
Liar.
really twisting a knife in you when you have to talk with me after such an accolade.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm gonna sleep worse tonight knowing that you're able to get a podium on that one. But nah, I mean, hell of a job, man. It's always fun seeing you guys up there and kind of battling it out there. So great result, and I'll say we'll get a few more interviews hopefully with you when you're able to make these. I know real life's busy too, so appreciate you hopping on and look forward to seeing you again soon, man.
See you guys.
All right, that is our third place finisher, Matt. We're going to jump back because we've got one more guy to talk to from that team, and that is going to be this fella here in that Navy machine, 1 week past the birthday of the Navy. So I didn't do a good job mentioning that one last week, Bud, but also, again, got to give you a big shout out. Thank you, because like I said, you've been putting on some great paint schemes and also been supporting some great causes like Mission 22. And everything there. So big, and the National Kidney Foundation. So big thank you to you on kind of bringing attention to these great things. And
my pleasure.
I'm guessing, is this one of those ones where it's, if I could go do it back again, I would do it differently out of 4? Or, I mean, is that one where it's like, that was the right move, it just didn't pan out for me tonight?
Well, I didn't know if my teammates that were in the low line behind Dude when he went up, if they would get up to me in time, and I kind of had to make a choice right then to jump up in front of Dude, and he went low, and I wasn't going to block twice. I just firmly believe you should never block twice, so because it's going to be nothing but trouble. So I stayed up there, and I think it was Vince caught up with me there and helped me get second. But great job, Dude. I always love running with Dude. Great guy.
I mean, it was a great battle with you guys, and yeah, I mean, it was a really good move, and we've seen that move win races before. So I mean, I definitely at the time I would have thought that was the way to go, as well. And then I mentioned to my brother as well as the pit stops. I mean, that first stop, I'm sure you were watching the relatives because you guys were really close to breaking that draft. I mean, it seemed like obviously pit stops were definitely an issue for a number of drivers here. I think Matt said maybe 7 pit road penalties tonight. So that was definitely a point of attrition a little bit on that one. But I said a bunch of you guys nailed it. And that first stop, you were so close to breaking away from Vicente and Eric Laurie and Dude Conrad. I mean, was that something you were watching, or was that something that you kind of just like, okay, we nailed our stop to make sure that like we're not going to lose the draft? I mean, what were you watching during that cycle?
Well, yeah, that was the main thing. Is just to have all of us get the best stop in and out, and try to come out with the lead. Because I mean, we know how good the boot knockers are at pit stops. So you kind of got to try to beat them at their own game type thing. Yeah, we had a good one, and it was close, but then at the same time, we wanted to, maybe save a lap, so things would be able to, do it again on the second stop.
Yeah, I mean, and saying you guys were able to go a fair bit further, and I was watching the pit stop times too. I mean, you guys were, I think, a lot of you were in the 8-second bracket on fuel, versus I think the other guys maybe in the 11 seconds. So it was definitely worthwhile, I think, to make that gamble. And then the question mark is obviously fuel too. I mean, it sounded like my brother said Nick was sputtering there coming to the checkered. I think Eric Laurie may have ran out almost in turn 2, if I'm not mistaken. How tight were you there to the end?
I had enough for 2 green-white checkers. I had like 5 laps left at the end there, 4.5, 5. Yeah.
That's
So
that's some good fuel mileage.
I took 8.5, and I think that's what all of us took, but maybe not.
No, you say you're just able to sip that fuel a little better than the other guys, but nah, I mean, it was a great run though for you tonight, Bud. Like I said, I mean, and that's the thing in these ones, you just got to keep putting yourself in position, and you got to hope that the the right move works the right time, and you were right there on it. And I say I wouldn't be surprised to see you going after these a lot more over the season, because it's been pretty regular to see you battling for these things, man. So before we let you go, always got to give you the floor. Any thanks and shouts for that runner up tonight, sir?
Oh, definitely. Thanks to all the teammates and everyone else, and being able to go door to door with Dude coming to the end there. That's always fun. Thank y'all at Green White Checkered, and thank my lovely wife again, and hope everyone is staying as healthy as they possibly can.
I appreciate it, sir. Go enjoy, go hang out with the missus, and look forward to seeing you on track here again soon, sir.
Thank Gail. Appreciate it.
All right, that leaves us one driver left to chat with. That is going to be our race winner in that number 8. And dude, that move from the top cut down underneath to the bottom, I mean, that was really, really nice there. The timing was perfect, easily able to stay above that yellow line. I mean, take us through the strategy. Obviously, everything was looking good with teammates, and then the caution comes out, and you've got Eric to your outside, and then did he run out of fuel? It kind of looked like it from our point of view. Okay.
Yeah, before the green drop there, that last caution, I told him, I said, I'm going to just stay behind Bud, and if something opens up, I'll take it. But I just was content staying behind Bud. And he said, man, I ran out of gas. I knew that was going to break the whole top line up. And so when I got clear of the 28, I went up high, and Bud went to block. And thank God Colby helped me there, because that move I'd have looked like an idiot if he wouldn't have helped.
Well, I think he didn't have much options on that one, because, I mean, there was cars to his outside too. And, I mean, we saw it at the beginning too. I mean, you guys if you had a car in front of you, I mean, it's like, well, the best thing for me to do is to push that guy in front. And so you kind of worked it to perfection there. And like I said, it was a great move. And we saw, obviously, you and Eric, Vince, and Gabe were working well together, but it seemed like tonight the pit stops were definitely a little trickier than usual for you all. Is it still the new car, just making adjustments and learning, or what was tonight's? Just, I feel like it definitely caught a few of you that maybe that we don't expect to see.
Yeah. After that last race of last season, I really just been practicing pit stops in all them cars. I looked like a fool there at that last race, but I mean, when the race goes green like this, you got to nail pit stop or get some help, and we did tonight.
Nah, he did an awesome job, like I said, kind of getting everything done right. And then the last one I have for you is the first pit stop. It obviously, unfortunately, lost Gabe with his speeding penalty, which left you, Vicente, and Eric. It looked touch and go for a little bit if you guys were going to catch up to the Roswell guys that pitted that lap later. I mean, was that something, were you watching and saying, hey, we got to really push this next lap or two to make sure we catch them? Or I mean, how worried were you guys at that point?
Well, they must have took lefts. And they was pretty good ways ahead of us. But no, we didn't run any harder. But we happened to look down, and we was doing 208. Like, man, that's going to be a lap time there. We was hauling the tail.
Yeah, you're making time happen there. That's impressive. But, man, before we let you go, as always, definitely got to give you the floor. Any thanks and shouts for that win here tonight, man?
Just Colby's help. I owe him one. Gabe, I hate that happened to him tonight. I always enjoyed running with him and Eric and Kevin. And I guess Kevin had to work. Just the team. That's about it, really. You guys, I love watching these races. From 5 years ago, I like watching these races. It's a lot of fun.
Nah, I appreciate it, man. So you guys put on a great racing. It makes it easy for us to do. But yeah, great job, man. Go enjoy this one, and look forward to seeing you on track again soon, sir.
Thank you, bud.
All right, Matt. That is our race winner as we watch him do burnouts there on the front stretch. And yeah, I mean, it just kind of that last lap, everything, just everybody's best laid plans just kind of completely came undone. And at that point, it's just you could kind of tell it's just kind of instincts where Bud was like, okay, I got to make sure I block that top lane. And then dude knew that was coming or saw it coming, was able to make his quick reaction, got the push he needed there at the end and was able to pull off the win. But yeah, it just again shows, I mean, best laid plans. You never know how things are going to turn out, and they did a really good job of making the right moves to get themselves in those positions.
Yeah, quick, precise move. Something I can't do it in stock car, but these guys can do it fairly well. I can do it in IndyCar, but these guys have got their timing and pushing abilities, and you don't want to push this guy. You don't want, he's not your teammate, but when it comes to boil down to it, you want to win a race. But in order to win the race, you're going to have to push the guy you're not really, barely supposed to. But dude, Conrad said, "Thank you to Quabi there," and it is what it is.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing is, and that's how it goes. Is it's really cool to see these guys. Like I said, it's sometimes you get the help from where you maybe don't expect it, and exactly like you said too, where these guys are going to kind of where the momentum is. That's where they got to go, and that's how they got to make it happen. So no, it was a really good moves by those guys, and like you said too, no mistakes. They nailed their pit stops. They were able to, and then they made the strategy work on the fuel mileage as close as we thought it was going to be. I mean, it caught a couple guys out too. So yeah, just great job by all of these guys. And we get to go back after it again on Thursday night here with the Xfinity cars back at Talladega. And I can tell you, I will be in the booth, unfortunately for you, Matt, so I'm going to be covering for Boomer because he's working on some real race car stuff that he's been doing with his buddies. So I want to give him some extra time to be prepped so he can do that race. Because, yeah, I mean, he's covered me a whole bunch of times. I got to return the favor. And but definitely, as always, Matt, super grateful for your time and effort and dedication to the broadcast, to the league. It's definitely does not go unnoticed. So, as always, thank you as well, sir.
No thanks needed, bud.
And then, of course, everybody that watches and supports us here at Green White Checkered TV, thank you all so much for being a part of it. So we saw some of Zach and Jason's fans. Saw Jimmy Reynolds pop in at the very end as well. Love to see you on track if you're around Jimmy in the future. But as always, until next time, take care, stay safe, and have a good night. We'll see you next time.